Simon & Schuster Audio presents Courage in the People's House. 9 Trailblazing Representatives Who Shaped America. By Joe Neguse. Read by Leon Nixon with the author.
Dedicated to the 2 wonderful people whom I've been blessed to share my life with, Andrea and Natalie. With malice toward none, with charity for all, with firmness in the right, as God gives us to see the right, let us strive on to finish the work we are in, to bind up the nation's wounds, to care for him who shall have borne the battle, and for his widow and his orphan, to do all which may achieve a just and lasting peace among ourselves and with all nations. Abraham Lincoln, 16th President of the United States, from 1861 to 1865, Representative, House of Representatives, 1847 to 1849. Prologue. Awe overwhelmed us as my wife, Andrea, and I walked into the Library of Congress for the very first time on a cold evening in early November 2018. We had arrived in our nation's capital a mere few days after that year's general election for what was billed as new member orientation, a training session of sorts for newly elected members of Congress. Feeling far removed from our home in the suburbs of northern Colorado, with perhaps the only exception being the light snow that had apparently arrived with us in Washington, D.C., we were scheduled that evening to join in a dinner with new and sitting members of the House of Representatives, my soon-to-be colleagues. As we walked through the ornate hallways of the historic library, 2 30-somethings from relatively modest means, we kept looking up at the cinematic grandeur of the place, and then glancing back at each other with the same befuddled look. What in the world are we doing here, we thought, as we saw the many famous politicians all around the room, familiar from our television screen back in Colorado. Neither of us had ever visited the Library of Congress before, and we were both transfixed with a fundamental sense of awe, not simply for the historic buildings, but for what they represented. The world's oldest and greatest constitutional republic. Not our nation's perfection, as I wouldn't have run if I didn't think it could be improved, but rather the exceptional and unique idea.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?